Hey everybody, Mike Campos here. Today I'm going to talk to you about the VA home loan. So let's get started right now. Hey everyone, this is Mike Campos here. I work at San Diego Funding. I've been a mortgage loan officer for over 16 years, and I look forward to just sharing information to help inspire and empower you to make a good decision about buying a house or refinancing a home. So today I'm going to talk about VA home loans and why VA home loans are a great loan option for active duty and retired military. VA home loans allow a home buyer to finance up to 100% of the sales price with a maximum loan limit of that conforming loan limit in that particular county. So every state, every county has a different maximum loan limit. And here in San Diego County, that loan limit is $649,750. If a home buyer was purchasing more than that, they would have to bring in a modified down payment. So what that means is that the difference between $649,750 and whatever sales price it might be, let's just say $1 million, times 25% on that difference would be their down payment. And for example, some cases, home buyers have to bring in 8 or 9% down payment on a $1.5 or $2 million house. It's a really great program. It has no private mortgage insurance. It has 30-year fixed rates available. Adjustable rate mortgages are available. And the 30-year fixed rates are lower than any other loan program out there. So if you are entitled for this benefit, it is definitely a program to look at. For example purposes, if you were buying a $1.5 million house, you would need about a $220,000 down payment. The VA loan underwriting guidelines are more forgiving and more liberal than traditional home loans. So Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, which are called conventional mortgages, require you to have up to a 50% debt to income ratio. 50% of your gross monthly income can go to debt. So what we do calculation wise is we calculate your income, divide it in half, and that's allowed to go to debt. That is credit cards, student loans, personal loans, and the new mortgage payment, including HOA and Melrose. VA, depending on your qualifications, will allow you to go up to sometimes 55 or 60% debt to income ratio. And that's a really great thing to see happen because that allows a veteran or active duty to accomplish the goal of home ownership or debt consolidation or streamlining into a new loan. We offer lower debt to income ratios. They have 30-year fixed programs at the better rates, more forgiving underwriting requirements for bankruptcies or short sales or foreclosure, sometimes as short as 2 years from the last derogatory event. 2 years later, you're eligible again for a VA or VA home loan. So it's a really great program to look at. If you're a home buyer and you go to a seller and you say, hey, I want to buy your house and I'm using a VA loan, there is a chance that the sellers may frown upon that for two reasons most of the time, and those two reasons are completely not valid reasons. Reason number one, a seller, or sometimes a seller's agent, may think because you're purchasing a property at 100% financing that you are a higher risk buyer to a seller. And what I mean by that is that the risk of falling out of escrow, the risk of not performing is what the sellers are looking at. Can this buyer perform? Can this buyer go into contract with me where I as a seller take my property off the market for sale, commit myself to this one particular buyer? Can this buyer close escrow and close escrow on time? That's what the sellers are trying to find out. Because some VA buyers are going at 100% financing, the sellers think that that is a higher risk compared to the person who might be putting 5, 10, or 15% down payment or 20% down payment. But let me tell you, it's a farce. If we take a good loan application, if I document your income and assets properly, and the loan application reflects accurate data based off your actual documents, and we underwrite the loan in our office, which we do, and we have an approval, we're really going to deliver the loan. In fact, in my experience, a VA buyer has a higher success rate at closing on time or closing early than some of these buyers that may be at 20 or 50% or even all cash. And and that's just a big sad thing to see, that so many people feel that way about VA buyers. The second reason that sellers frown upon VA loans is because of past transactions in the early 2000s, 2002, 2003 timeframe. In this era, in the early 2000s, we were doing a lot of VA loans where the saying was called the VA no-no. VA no money down, VA no closing costs, a dollar moves you in. And that, in essence, can truly happen on a VA loan. But in the early 2000s, that's all us as loan professionals were doing, was pushing that we were doing a VA no-no, where the buyer was active duty or retired military. They were buying a house at 100% financing, and they were bringing in no money, no closing costs. They had no money. We're just selling them a house. And the way that the closing costs were paid for in that era was that the purchase contracts were negotiated that the sellers pay the buyer's closing costs, which can be, $5,000 to $7,000, $5,000 to $10,000, depending on the circumstances. The negative reputation was put on a realtors that VA buyers forced the sellers to pay, excessive amounts of money to close escrow on a transaction. Well, the VA no-no, where the sellers pays the buyer's closing costs, is not mandatory. It's a part of the negotiation. It's an option that's on the table. So if it was our VA eligible buyer's best interest to negotiate a VA no-no, we'll do that up front and negotiate that up front with sellers and with our agents. And appropriately with our VA eligible buyer, we will have the VA eligible buyer bring in to the equation their own closing costs. And the reason why we want that to take place today in this marketplace here in San Diego, there's so much competition in real estate today, low inventory, not a lot of new construction, very few houses for sale compared to the amount of buyers out there. We want to help our active duty eligible VA buyer be as aggressive and competitive compared to all the other Jane Does and John Does that are trying to buy real estate. So in a lot of cases, we want the VA eligible buyer to bring in their closing costs. We can ask as little from the sellers as possible, just like all the other buyers are doing with traditional loans. So we have strategies to make our VA eligible buyers more competitive in the marketplace, to make them as equal or better than the other John Does and John Does that may be writing offers on properties. So how do we do that? What we do is we underwrite and pre-underwrite your loan before writing an offer. That way we can have your offer contract have more aggressive terms than the traditional standard contract. And that would be a conversation that we'll have with your realtor when the time's right about, and in essence, closing escrow soon and quick and fast. Because San Diego Funding underwrites and funds the loans in our office, we have full control of the process, meaning that if we have a 15-day, 20-day, 30-day close, we can accommodate that, making your offer as close to a cash offer as possible, even though you are doing 100% financing. And that's just a strategy that we've been working on for many years that's helped us become very successful in the real estate community and in the purchase market business. So some of the VA loan requirements that exist is that the property has to be an owner-occupied purchase transaction. The buyer must document their income and assets and have acceptable credit scores to qualify to get the loan approved. And the unique thing that does exist, that is a requirement, that is unique compared to other loans, is that we have to have termite clearance, Section 1 and Section 2. Section 1 termite clearance is negotiable in most transactions, but with VA, Section 1 termite clearance is mandatory. Section 2 termite clearance is also mandatory, but most of the time that is clarification-based conditions, not an expense to the seller. The buyer cannot pay for the termite inspection, but the buyer can provide or pay for termite Section 1 and Section 2 termite clearance. So that is something that's also very unique about the VA transaction. If the eligible VA buyer is purchasing a condominium, we have to make sure that that condominium is on the VA approved condominium list. And this is something that I research, and I'm only allowed to research Monday through Friday because the VA website's closed on the weekends. So if you are shopping for real estate and you're a VA eligible buyer and you're looking at condominiums, please share with me what zip codes and cities you're looking in so I can properly vet the condominiums that are eligible for VA financing. And this is something that a lot of people miss. And even though the real estate agents might put on the MLS that the condominium or the unit can entertain VA financing, the accuracy of what the MLS says about that is not always on point. What is on point is the VA website, and I'm happy to do that research for you anytime. If you would like more information about VA home loans and how the home loan can benefit you, please feel free to reach out to me direct. Message me below. I'm happy to share information. There's no money up front. There's no obligation. And if you like the videos that I'm pushing out here, please give me a thumbs up and click subscribe to follow my channel. I look forward to talking to you soon.